Let's go. He's ready to go.
Now get ready.
Call to order the regular meeting of the Stokes County Commissioners for Monday, July the 14th. Rick will have our invocation.
Let's pray. Most gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for the many blessings you've given us. We ask that you lead, guide, and direct us as we go forward to do the county business today. We ask that you be with all the leaders at all levels of government as our country works through many very complicated issues. These things, God, we ask in your most gracious name.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Does anybody have any changes to the agenda?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to add one item.
Okay.
There's a time-sensitive issue where we've been asked to give conditional approval tonight in the loan situation with Carl and Christy Mitchell with the projects that they're doing. I think everybody's aware of. And it's a time-sensitive thing. It really won't wait till the next meeting. So we'd like to discuss that, put it on the discussion agenda, and then hopefully move it to action and give them a conditional approval based on whatever we agree to tonight as far as documentation and so forth. So they can proceed with their grant process and their money flow with the projects they're working on, and not have to wait until 2 weeks from now to do that.
I'll make a motion to second that. All in favor?
Aye.
We also have a second budget amendment that needs to get added in under the consent agenda. It was just part of those current school expense that needs to get moved over to fines and forfeitures. It's already budgeted in the school's current expense, but it needs to be shown separately because it's a pass-through allocation. And usually we do show it separately, but it had gotten moved under general fund, and it's just needs to go back where we have it. So
you're adding that as a D item on the list on the consent?
I guess it would just go under the budget amendment.
That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, so it's just an additional attachment to item B under.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess we need. Yes. Do I hear a motion to approve those changes?
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That takes us to public comments.
So for our public comments, each speaker shall be allowed 4 minutes for public comments with the option to yield their time to another speaker or add an optional minute depending on the number of speakers that have signed up while abiding by the 30-minute total time limit. All speakers shall maintain good decorum and show respect and good manners. Vulgar language, profanity, inappropriate gestures, insults, personal attacks, accusations, and inflammatory language is prohibited. The chairman of the board shall enforce these rules, and anyone not complying with these rules shall not be allowed to continue. At their discretion, members of the board may address items from public comments during their commissioner comment period. With that said, our first speaker is Ryan Clark.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. My name is Ryan Clark. I reside at 5250 NC 772 Highway in Stokes County. I'm here to speak on the proposed fire service contract that was presented on the discussion agenda at the last Commissioners meeting. I will be speaking in opposition to the proposed contract, the method in which it was recommended to proceed with. My department, along with others in the county, are currently under a less than 5 total page contract. What I mean by less than 5, the contract currently is 5 pages, but only 4 of it is contractual language. The 5th page is a signature page. For us to go from a 5-page contract to a 43-page contract is absolutely absurd. I understand the need for a new contract. As the one I'm currently under, my department signed in 2017. However, I do not agree with what has been presented, and allow me to give you a few examples why. First of all, the contract that was presented to us was anything but professionally written. There are more grammar and spelling issues with it than I could begin to list. If we want to become more professional, that would have been a good first step. Secondly, many of you as commissioners had stated you had yet to read the contract. How can you in good consciousness attempt to implement or recommend a contract or policy in which you have not even looked at? Even one such as this that you voted just to extend for 6 months. I myself tried to educate and evaluate things before I make a decision on something, and this could have not been done without prior reading and education of the fire service in this county. My next question is, was the county attorney consulted and used in the draft of this contract? The statement of independent contractor comes up multiple times throughout the proposed contract. According to research and my knowledge of the business terminology, this contract far exceeds the definition of what an independent contractor is, and in turn makes the fire departments more in line with employees or a county department. Referring back to statements made at previous commissioners' meetings, Commissioner Chandler, you stated that you now have 3 fire departments in violation of the current contract. Now my question is, has anything been done to these departments that are in violation? Have they been reprimanded or a timeline set for compliance? Have they been put on a probationary period? Have they been given guidance by the county and been told the what-ifs if they are not in compliance? If they have, we as the fire service in the county have not been informed. We as the fire service have not been made aware of this violation of these departments in this contract. With that being said, what good would a new 43-page contract do if the current one we have isn't currently being enforced? I have said all along, if the communities knew what was going on, they would hold their departments accountable, something far more powerful than a contract ever will be. Also, the drafting of this 43-page document comes into question for me. Were any of the fire commissioners involved in this draft? Were any of the fire departments consulted? Were any of the chiefs asked to be a part of this process? I can speak on behalf of my department and say we were never asked, nor was I as chief. County manager did ask me if I wanted to review the document, but I never saw it till it became on the agenda. Now I have a few examples of contracts from around the state, which are all public record. First example is one from Guilford County, 11 pages in total, and it represents a budget of over $35 million in fire tax dollars. The second example is Forsyth County, 8 pages in total. Now my question is, how can these counties operate on a document far fewer pages than ours, but be allowed to use millions and millions more dollars than we do in Stokes County? With that being said, I would like to see a whole new process start over with input and negotiation from all parties involved. To start off using the original 5-page document and evolve it into what a contract that satisfies both parties involved, the fire departments and the county, and one that we can all live with. Also, have all parties with interest involved, such as fire commissioners, department board of directors, chiefs, and county representatives present in the drafting of the contract. Thank you for your time and hopefully your understanding.
Thank you.
John Webb. Gotcha. Ryan Mitchell.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Ryan Mitchell, and I reside at 1072 Payne Road, Rural Hall, North Carolina, in Stokes County. And I'm here tonight to speak not just as a concerned citizen, but someone deeply invested in the public safety of Stokes County. Over the past several months, there's been a growing concern throughout our community, particularly among those who serve in public safety, about the direction of our county leaders that our county leadership is taking. And let's be honest, these changes are being pushed not by this board as a whole, but directly by the county manager. From the move to eliminate take-home vehicles for essential county employees, to the micromanagement of how employees spend their personal time, to the aggressive rollout of a burdensome 43-page fire service contract. This is not leadership, this is control. The removal of take-home vehicles is not about saving money, it's about sending a message, and that message is being received loud and clear. The public safety professionals the very people who run toward emergencies, who give up holidays, sleep, and personal safety, are being treated like liabilities instead of assets. Let me be absolutely clear. A take-home vehicle for both employees of EMS and the Fire Marshal's office isn't a luxury. It's a vital tool for readiness and faster response. Removing that access not only slows emergency response, but it also places lives at risk. Even more concerning is the tone of some of the discussion coming from this leadership. At one recent meeting, it was even suggested that firefighters shouldn't be driving EMS units when both paramedics are tied up in the back with patients. That kind of thinking shows a complete lack of understanding for how emergency services operate in real world. These firefighters are stepping up to keep ambulances moving and patients alive, not stepping out of line. Furthermore, if you can in fact drive a fire truck, you are more than qualified to drive an ambulance, and the firefighters of this county should find it offensive that someone who has never driven either a fire truck or an ambulance is making comments on this matter. And beyond that, this county manager seems determined to dictate what employees do during their off hours, attempting to control how they speak, act, and even advocate for themselves and their communities. This is not only inappropriate, it is un-American. Every county employee, especially those in public safety, should be free to speak up at public meetings like this one without fear of retaliation or termination. Yet that's exactly what's happening. County workers are afraid to stand up and share their opinions because they know it might cost them their job. Let me remind this room, the First Amendment applies in Stokes County too, and no county manager, no matter their title, has the right to silence or intimidate public servants. To Commissioners Barney Castle and Cox, I want to thank you sincerely for standing up and asking the tough questions. Thank you for speaking out about the 43-page contract, for showing concern, for being voices of reason and support for public safety in a time when it's sorely needed. Your leadership gives hope to those who feel unheard and dismissed, and to the rest of the board, I urge you to start listening. Because if we keep heading down this path, pushing away our public servants, silencing our workforce, and letting one county manager drive policy unchecked, we're going to lose the very people who keep Stokes County running. I'm asking for accountability, I'm asking for fairness, and I'm asking you, this board, to put an end to the attacks on public safety and stand up for the people who stand up for us. I hope all the county departments and board of directors come together as one and stand their ground on what is trying to be pushed through. I ask you, the commissioners, please override the manager and return every essential take-home vehicle to its employees immediately. And let me end here reminding everyone, the county manager works for you all, but you all work for us. Thank you for your time.
Jeff Whitaker.
I'm Jeff Whitaker, Chief of Danbury Volunteer Fire Department, and I come tonight, Commissioner Chandler, I know you talk about accountability a lot, and that's why I come for tonight is accountability. I'm the Chief of the Fire Department, and I'm accountable to a lot of entities. I'm accountable to my Board of Directors, I'm accountable to my firemen, I'm accountable to the citizens of the fire district that I serve, I'm accountable to the county manager, the fire commissioners, as well as to this board. And tonight I come before you to stand accountable for a non-response that Danbury Volunteer Fire Department had on July the 2nd at around 2:30 in the morning. All calls are important, and Chief Barney Castle can fill you in more on that, but the State Fire Marshal's Office requires that on all in-district structure fires that you have an engine and 4 personnel respond. That night we were dispatched to a structure fire on Dodgetown Road, and which is in our district, our main response district. And luckily the fire was out, I think, before anybody got there. I think the homeowner put the fire out. It was an air fryer on fire that I think charred a little bit of the cabinet in the house, but other than that, the fire was out upon arrival, and that was the only damage done. However, Danbury, as I said, which was the main response district for that area, we failed that night. We only had 2 personnel respond. Myself and another one of my officers. He drove our engine and I drove our tanker. Of course, there were 5 other departments on the scene as well, and they had great turnout. But it all relates back to me as Fire Chief of Danbury. And I come tonight to stand accountable for that non-response in our district. I have self-reported to the state. Back up just a minute. That happened at 2:30 in the morning. We were there till around 4:30, 4:45 in the morning when we cleared the scene. Got back to the station. Wednesday I had to work, and I was tired and I did not get a chance to take care of it that day. Thursday I knew I was going to be off, and I was going to call the state fire marshal's office and self-report our non-response, which is not required. That is not a requirement, but I was going to self-report because of my accountability I feel like I have to the county. Before I could do that, there was a complaint filed with the fire marshal's office, and I think with the county manager, not giving me a chance to get to Thursday to do my self-response, which I was. It didn't matter. I was going to self-report. I was going to call Vernon Ward on Thursday and report that we had a non-response. And I talked to Mr. Ward, who was with the state fire marshal's office on Thursday, explained the situation to him, told him we had a non-response. I didn't lie. There were several chances in our conversation. If I didn't want to take accountability for it, I could have told him no, we had 4, or told him a different answer to get out of. I did not. I took full responsibility for it because that is what you're supposed to do as chief. I told him when I became chief, when things go good, I give praise to my men. When things go wrong, I stand up and I take accountability for it. That night it went wrong. I talked to Mr. Ward, and only thing that we discussed as with this was that I would document it on my structure fire report, that I did self-report, that I did speak with Mr. Ward, and he actually told me, he said, we're due for inspection again in 27. He said, I take that into accountability, that you self-reported, that you took it upon yourself to stand accountable. So he said I would look at that a little favorable. We did discuss if it happens in the future, then the consequences, and I know what the consequences are if it happens again. I have tried to take precautions, and I'll be through in just a second. I have tried to take precautions to prevent this from happening again. We discussed it last Thursday night at our board meeting with all of my firemen and my board, and I told them I was coming tonight to stand accountable to this board of county commissioners, that we did have that non-response, but we have hopefully corrected the issue. Hopefully it will not happen again. If it does, I understand our department will probably go on probation. We'll have 30 days to present a plan of action to correct it, and all of our reports will have to be submitted to the state on structure fires for a period of time. And I understand that, and Mr. Ward and myself had a good conversation on that as well. But tonight I just come, I'm transparent. I don't know if anybody else received any calls. I know, like I said, the county manager and the fire marshal did. But I stand accountable to you that I hope the plan that we've put in place will prevent this non-response from happening again, and I thank you for your time.
That's all of our public comments.
Okay, we go to the managers and commissioner comments. Sonia?
Yeah, I'd just like to thank you all for being here, for expressing your opinions about the contracts. As you know, we just kind of started combing through it, and I think there's a lot of work to be done on it, and we'll hopefully can have a product at the end that the fire commissioners and the chiefs and the departments and the board can all look favorably upon. That would be my goal. So thank you again for coming out, and for the rest of you in the audience tonight. We appreciate y'all being here, and that's all I have. Thank you.
Wayne?
It's great to see everybody tonight. Hope everybody's had a blessed day. Jeff, I commend you for coming forth with that information. I did hear about it, and as we all know, that will affect our ISO rating down the road. So I appreciate that. I appreciate all the firemen showing up tonight. Some's got it that we're gonna vote on that contract next month. No, I please want everybody to understand that contract will not be voted on next month. I can assure you of that. Do I like the contract? No. I have had multiple people to read it. That's in that line of work that reads contracts like that. Can't make heads or tails of it, over half of it. So if they can't, then I know I can't, because they do that for a living. But again, I appreciate y'all's concerns and hard work, and we'll deal with this down the road, and hopefully we can all come to agreement on this.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to thank the firemen for coming in comments tonight too. This whole thing has really kind of confused me a little bit. First of all the emphasis on how many pages it is, that's all relative. I don't think of 41 pages when I'm talking about complicated contracts as being a big number. Just because we just happen to have one that's 3 or 4 pages now, to me that seems irrelevant. What's really important is what's the content of the contract. The way the process works here, and it works everywhere that I've ever been, is that the manager doesn't give us a contract and ask us to give him a perfect product so he can staff it with you. That ain't the way it works. We ask the manager to go do contracts, leases, all kinds of documents, and he and his staff go and staff it with the appropriate experts or whoever, and then it comes back with those comments, and we get a recommendation on what we should do. And it sounds like some of the fire folks think we should be doing it the opposite of that, which is, just kind of confusing to me, because I've never seen it done that way anywhere else before. We need the expertise of fire commissioners, firemen, boards of directors. I've already offered with one board person, Joe James, I'd come and sit down and go through the whole thing with him paragraph by paragraph if he wanted me to. And actually we kind of tentatively plan to do that. The number of pages, the ones Ryan was showing, this one will probably end up about that size too when it's finished. But it's in a staffing process to figure out what needs to be in it and what needs to not be in it. And we're asking for your help. I would kind of appreciate a comprehensive document if I was in your shoes, that looked at everything, and then there's nothing that says we can't eliminate everything down to 5 pages when we're done. If that's what it takes to appropriately have the accountability and correct the other issues that we're working on. Everybody's working to try to make the system more fair and more accountable, and there is no lack of support from any of us up here as to the emergency services in this county. I take issue with that. That is total BS. So, I don't know what to say really. I'm kind of, like I said, I'm kind of surprised that everybody it's a draft document. DRAFT, draft, to be fixed. It wasn't designed to be the perfect product when it landed in your hands. And I would hope you would work with us and our county staff so that we end up with appropriate document, whatever the length of it happens to be. That's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Brad?
I want to welcome everybody. It's always good to hear from people in the audience. Good to see the firefighters here giving their opinions. I don't want to repeat too much what Commissioner Morris says, but I think I even heard Chief Clark say in his statement, called it a draft. So apparently he knows it's a draft. So a draft is nowhere near a final product.
There's spelling errors in it.
Pardon me?
Drafts have spelling errors in them.
Yeah.
Quite frequently.
So that's not a shock. I guess we're going into political season. I thought it'd be a little bit later, but it's going into political season now. I've met with several people. I've received a lot of phone calls from other people that are volunteer firefighters, and they got some concerns too. In fact, I've got a lot of notes already. And there are a lot of errors on it.
that's not a shock. That was nowhere near a final product. I've talked with a lot of different fire chiefs. They understand that this thing is not gonna happen in 6 weeks. It's nowhere near that. I think Commissioner Barnacastle even talked about the last meeting the need to meet with the board of directors, and I'm good with that. I think that's important. I really do. But if I could just step back about 2 steps and remind everybody, the reason that we're looking at redoing the fire service contracts is that, and again, I know best practices sometimes is not a good word to use, but you have a lot of issues, and I should say we, taxpayers, because that's who ultimately funds the volunteer fire departments, is the taxpayers, is that Board of Commissioners throughout North Carolina, and some very, very close to here, they've had to go to contracts in order to get the required response and get the required feedback that they need to show that the tax dollars are being spent efficiently. And I've said this in many meetings, a contract is a contract. Even though it's with a volunteer fire department, if you agree to meet certain conditions, then the county gives tax dollars money for you to fulfill those needs. The county has an obligation to provide fire service. So if those needs aren't filled, that's a violation of the contract. Now, are we looking to we want to cancel a whole bunch of contracts and no, we don't. We want to help the fire departments. Thank you, Chief Whitaker. You comes here from Danbury. We're not out to embarrass people. We're not out to trying to close down the volunteer fire departments. We're not trying to do this. But let me also explain that I get tired of getting phone calls from residents who have called for the fire department and their fire department doesn't show up, and their house is burning or a car has flipped over. And in terms of what Chief Clark was saying about the 3 volunteer fire departments that are in violation of the contract, that part's true, and the only reason that I haven't said it publicly is because we started a process with the fire commission, and it got to a point where it was so critical that I was asked if I would go along with, because it has to be done in public. It's public record, it's transparency. And then when I try to get it on the agenda, then I'm told that a letter comes from the fire commission saying pull it. And I think that there's probably nobody sitting in this room out here that doesn't know the fire departments that are having severe issues. I mean, if it would make you all feel better, I could certainly name those names, but I don't know what good it would do, because you know it just like I do. And in regards to Mr. Mitchell on about my comment, I'm the one that made the comment about, because the new driving policy, it did allowed for volunteer fire departments to drive an ambulance in terms of, if in an emergency. I've been in public safety for 35 years. Never fought a fire other than using a fire extinguisher out of the back of a patrol car every once in a while. But as my career spanned, I did work a lot with firefighters. And they're a great bunch of people. I support them 100%, just like they support the police 100%. Because we're kind of in the same game out there serving the public. But maybe I'm a little different. Maybe it's wrong. Excuse me. But I also look at liability. And I'm not afraid to ask a question worried about politics. And my position is our risk management from the state, that our County Commissioners Association, are they okay? Would that affect our insurance if that volunteer firefighter was driving an ambulance going code traffic and have a wreck? That was my concern. And so then when I asked that question, so then in the meantime, I called around to a few counties. You know, just said, well, man, you know what? Maybe I'm way off whack. I mean, who cares who drives the ambulance? Because it is an emergency. And then I find out right very first call I made, a county that neighbors us, they don't allow that. And then even in terms of their defensive driving, their courses and stuff, it pertains to the difference between an ambulance and a fire truck. So then, as we're going forward, I find out that, hey, the risk manager is good with it. And then I also received some information from former people that were heavily involved in the EMS, and I voted to approve it. But for me asking a question over liability and possibly somebody getting hurt in another wreck, I don't think I'm not supporting public safety. For 2.5 years, I've done nothing but support public safety. And I'm 100%, I mean, I guess I don't even know what to say with the employees. If you're just talking about the take-home vehicles, I'm not saying I disagree with you. If there's other things that you're trying to say regarding the manager, I don't know I don't know nothing about it. But I do know this, that, you know, the manager, in my experience with him here, is that he does look at both sides, and he does look at statistics. And if you can show the need for whatever that issue would be, whether it be training or it be take-home cars, they have that opportunity to show that. And there's certainly there's no ill will of us trying to drive out public safety, especially volunteer firefighters. The whole thing comes down to, it started to, at least in the majority of the counties in North Carolina, and Stokes is one of them, Monday through Friday during the day, we have a hard time getting volunteers to respond to calls. And that's the primary thing that started the contracts. And there's no hidden agenda. There's no us against them. I've got to answer to the taxpayers for the money, and I've also got to answer to the fire departments to make sure that we can get you all the help. What can we do to get you all the help? But statistics does also help too, and that's all I got. Sure.
Okay, thanks. Jeff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't have any comments.
Amber?
Just welcome everybody. Thank you all for being here. That's all I got.
Olivia? I'd like to welcome everybody. I'm glad to see everybody. Chief Whitaker, thank you for being honest. Because that don't exist in this world we're in. It's rare. To the firemen, we need your input. We need y'all. And this is just a start because we got a rough road to hoe in the future. All you got to do, I look at the journal. I'm sad to say on a computer because you can't get a paper no more. And the firemen are in it every day. They're being shut down. They're being laid off, and I don't understand all that. So we don't want that. We're not the enemy. We're here to work this out, and I appreciate y'all's input. And that's all I got. Conflict of interest. Before moving further, does any board member have a conflict with any of the items on the agenda for today, or one that might be perceived as a conflict of interest?
No.
Can I get approval of the consent agenda?
Motion to approve the consent.
All in favor? Aye. That brings us to discussion agenda. You're up first, Olivia.
So the first item on the discussion agenda is our voluntary agriculture district board appointments. George Cutchins and Taylor George were nominated to the VAD at their last meeting. They would be replacing Josh Francis and Sloan McPeak as their terms are expiring, and the new appointments for these individuals would be for 3 years. So what we would normally do is we would nominate these two people, and then we usually keep a waiting period
You
just
want
to
a
make
poll
sure.
or just a?
Just a nomination.
Okay.
And then we
Do
usually
I hear a
keep it.
motion to nominate these two?
I'll make a motion.
All in favor? Aye.
Hold next time on them, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Keep talking, Olivia. You're up next.
Oh, I gotta take notes too.
Okay. Let's slow down a minute.
The second item on the discussion agenda is for the Stokes Aging Planning Committee appointments. Vicki East has requested that the following members of the Aging Planning Committee to be reappointed. This includes Brad Langford, Tammy Bennett, Joanne Hall, Judy Hennis, Brandon Hooker, Jack Sneed, Mike Stewart, Kathy Young, and Winona Sands. Additionally, she's requesting for Judy Hopkins, Darlene James, and Katie Tedder to be appointed. So to avoid y'all having to say all that, you can nominate the list as presented, and we can move to action for the next meeting.
Do I hear a motion to nominate the list as presented?
Motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Rick, is Tori gone?
Tori's here. Yeah, Tori will do that.
Tori's here, okay. You're up, Tori. You were hiding back there.
Thank you for adding this to the agenda. We were notified on June the 10th, the finance director, Tammy Keaton, was notified of needing to pay off a lien on a property that we have a grant agreement with for a build and reuse grant. So we pursued and seeked out further details. We had no prior knowledge as to what was going on. I even asked Commerce, and then on the 12th we found out that we needed to subordinate from one loan to a new loan that was being put on the property. And we've received today the new appraisal, and I also have the tax value document from the tax office, property record card, and so through discussions with Ty Browder, our attorney in June, the original loan that the county was second in line for was a lien on the property for a value of $156,000. and the attorney has told me that the new value of the loan is $461,000 under a new loan company. And with the change from one loan company, Farm Credit, to the new one, the county has become number one, and the attorneys for the Mitchells need us to subordinate to be a number two on the new loan so that they can sign off and complete that new refinancing. Yes, refinancing. The word was escaping me. Sorry. Thank you, Jennifer. Ty and myself have spoke about it. I've spoken about it with Jeff, and the conclusion was to bring it to the commissioners. And we have everything now to get this on the agenda, but we may be lacking a document. And Jennifer can speak on that.
Yeah, I'll be glad to if that's okay with you all. My understanding from talking to Tori is that the closeout date for the building reuse grant contract is 10/20 of this year. And the final requirement was the creation of the 9 jobs and holding those within 6 months. And I think we have Q3 and Q4 of 2024, but we don't have Q1 and Q2 of 2025. So we're not able to see whether the jobs have actually been retained for the 6-month period yet as well. I don't think you and I talked about that. The additional item that we were waiting for was the appraisal. That has since been provided. So there is enough equity left over, just by my calculations, and looking at this number. The county could potentially be on the hook if the grant conditions are not satisfied to repay the state $151,057.91. Now, the appraised value is $615,000. So you take out the $461,000 that would be refinanced, and you're left with an equity of approximately $154,000. So there is sufficient equity in the property to cover the county's interest. The limited time risk, I'll say this way, because once the closeout is done, the county has no risk, okay? But in the interim, with not knowing whether the grant conditions are going to be satisfied within that new job creation, until the grant is closed out, if we subordinate, if the property were to be foreclosed on, the county could be on the hook for the $151,000. Or the county might be in the position where if the bank forecloses on the property, where the county would then need to purchase the property in order to resell it and recoup the $151,000. So it may be a remote risk, but I felt like it needed to be communicated to you all, and I think Jeff felt the same way, and Tori. So it's certainly legal for the commissioners to do a conditional approval for subordination. There would be some documentation that I would like to have in that conditional subordination to be provided by the Mitchells for our records as well.
She's about to explode to make some comments. Come on up, Miss Mitchell. We're going to get you a chance to talk.
Okay.
You disagree with this?
I do not disagree with anything. I am very frustrated that all of our finances is now on public record. That's
embarrassing. Like, shouldn't that?
That's very. But we do have our NCUI for Q1. We did not have it for Q2 because that does not close until June 30th. We went into this refinancing not understanding that this lien was going to be an issue. The bankers have never had an issue with somebody signing again to be second lien holder. They were very surprised. In order to get the project going in King, which is going to bring 50 more jobs to this county, we need these loans, we need these refinances that now everybody knows what we're getting.
We need to be able to leverage our asset.
We need to be able to leverage the asset. We have done the property was originally sold to us for $205,000, is now worth $615,000 because of the work that we have put into it. And so we are going to leverage that asset to be able to have what is needed to get that plant built in King, to bring more jobs to this county. We do have those reports. I told Mr. May that we would not have the closeout for the NCUI for quarter 2 until June 30th. He was going out of town. We needed to close out by July 15th. We've now gotten an extension. We have submitted all of that stuff to the state. We actually got a call at about 6:05 from the people at the state saying that, yes, this is good. You've met these requirements. But they're confused as to why we're the ones that are submitting, because the county's supposed to be submitting all of that. So we do have all of the employment numbers that we need. We got that confirmed at 6:05 today. And really, all we're asking is you were second lien on the property. We've done all of the work. Yeah. We've increased it ourselves through this grant that you guys were we're very thankful that you approved the county's input of the 10 grand to make this work. But we did all this, and now we're going to utilize it to do more for the county. You were second lien to Ag South. All we're asking is that you be second lien holder to Atlantic Union Bank. You're not changing anything into what you agreed to 2 years ago. We are just going from a 9.1% loan to a 6.5 to better our financial standing so that we can better our businesses and better Stokes County.
Any questions?
I feel bad. I mean, I feel bad because y'all, I mean, I support y'all 200% just on your word. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I mean, I got no problem with doing what you want to create those extra jobs and, you know, and to make the motion to make this thing happen. I have no second thoughts about that.
I think I agree with what Brad just said, and I'm sorry that this probably should have been in closed session, and I'm sorry that it wasn't, and that all that was made public, because that's your business. It shouldn't have been public, so I apologize for that profusely. And I do 100% support what you're doing. I understand what you're saying. Nothing's really changing. Right. You're refinancing to get a better rate because interest rates have come down. All the work you've done on the land makes it more valuable, so you've built equity in it. It all makes sense. Right. But I'm sorry it was done in this session like this. I'm sorry.
I thought all the grant information was public information.
I just don't know why
our
our
grant
loan
information and our equity information is two different things.
and our loan amount and.
Oh, okay.
Those are usually on the deed of trust, though, too. So.
Whatever.
I mean, I get it.
It's just not usually broadcast on YouTube to everybody.
No, I understand that.
That's. People want to know. I'd rather them dig than watch YouTube. So.
Exactly.
Totally comfortable accepting the risk for the county with what you guys are doing and doing a conditional approval tonight based on whatever it is you need, our guys need tomorrow from you to not hold you up 2 more weeks.
When is your closing?
It was
supposed to be
June 11th.
Yeah.
And then we got turned down on the 12th when this paperwork was submitted from the lawyer's office to have you be on second lien again. So we've already been waiting a month and 3 days.
And
They want to meet with us next week.
The bank was caught off guard because this is usually not.
They've never had this issue
They've
before.
never had this issue before.
What we're very worried about is the red flags of, okay, we made you wait a week and now we're going to make you wait 2 more weeks till the 28th when we're on the agenda. And what kind of red flags does that show? And are we still going to get our financing when we've already put them off for a month with paperwork that they've always had signed before?
I think what Jennifer was going to say earlier was that I think we just need one document, and that's going to be your loan application, so that we can demonstrate that you have the equity in the property after taking the loan to cover what
And
risk we do.
I've got the loans that are now null and void. Yeah. I can't copy this. I don't have legal printers. The application
Welcome to copy it.
The application is super long because we have to do all of our finance. And why? I don't know that you guys need to know all of our
My
finances.
suggestion was going to be that social security numbers and bank account information be redacted so that it would not be public record. And all we would need to see was the amount being sought to be financed, essentially.
You can have this right now, but it's not,
But
I
that's
mean,
not-
that's what we signed on the 11th. But we have to re-sign.
Right.
Do we need this moved to action tonight?
Yes.
Yes.
And I'm all
Thank
for
you.
it, and I apologize too. I even asked the question, should we move this to close? And this come together in 2 hours. Oh, you called me about 4.
When I submitted last week, they wanted the appraisal. That's all people wanted.
It's 126 pages, so attachment didn't do right.
I didn't attach it. But then nobody let me know that I didn't attach it until today at noon. That's when I found out we might not be on here at noon, and that's when frustrations mounted. Because we had been planning on this and had told the bank today was the day and we would call them tomorrow.
And thanks for your patience, because
Yes, sir.
your journey in the beginning, this ain't the first time we stumped our toe.
Yeah.
I supported y'all the first time, and I support you again.
Thank you.
Y'all keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Keep
Don't
selling-
give up
keep
on us.
selling-
We're
keep
trying.
selling the good meat.
We're trying. Thank you.
That's the old one, right?
What does our motion need to say? Does somebody?
Make it happen.
Let them, and they'll give you the verbiage.
Let me ask you, on Newsom Road, I was just telling them before our meeting started, I was like, I'm trying to figure out where the building's gonna go.
The old concrete plant,
Uh-huh.
behind there, there's, like, we've had it timbered. We're waiting on erosion control plan to be approved, and then, we've got some EPA paperwork for USDA that is gonna take about 60 days.
Yeah. It's a lot of hoops.
Once
to
that's
jump
done,
through.
then we were gonna, we got everything lined up to go wide open once.
Can't even get a
Civil-
coffee shop.
The position-
Can't even get a coffee shop opening.
I know.
So-
The civil engineering is almost done, so really when EPA and environmental's done, we will have the plans to get the land ready and get
So
started.
I've
Y'all
been
better
taking my
watch out.
grandsons fishing out that way on off Newsom, and I was like, well, where is this gonna be? 'Cause
Right behind Camel City posters.
Yeah,
We know
I
what we
gotcha.
do, and so we like that land because it's behind.
Yeah,
You know,
I kept thinking, storage. Where's all the storage stuff?
Off the road,
Is there
back
some
behind.
storage buildings?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there is a building being built between the storage buildings, and I said, I know it's not that, because that's
No,
not big
not
enough.
yet, not yet.
I gotcha. Thank you.
So what does our motion need to say to make sure that we meet your requirements?
You're up, Jennifer, with the bank.
What we were going to ask for is that we do a conditional approval of subordination of the lien on condition that the Mitchells are able to provide assurance of equity in the amount of I guess it would technically be the $151,057.91 free and clear of any encumbrance. So no other loans, anything like that, which I don't think there are. So it's a little funky for us because normally we're not doing these kind of things before closing. But if I don't need your entire loan application, I just need part of it where it says this is the amount we're seeking. I don't need your social security number. I don't need your bank account information. I don't need half of the stuff that's in there because I know exactly what you're talking about. They're huge. But if you could get us that, I don't care if y'all scratch through it.
All we were told is we needed the appraisal.
Yeah, and I understand that. That was to indicate, that was to look at the equity. And then if you can provide the application information ASAP, I don't care if you email it directly to me. It's not going to bother me. I don't think it'll bother you guys, will it? And then I can redact it.
Can we get your email address, please?
Yes, I will. And then we would need a signed closing disclosure like these after your closing. I mean, but we would do the approval ahead of time, and we would just have this as supplemental documentation after everything is done. And the only reason we're even discussing this at all is because it hasn't been closed out yet. And there is a small risk. I don't know that it's a huge risk. I think you and I have talked about this. that if something happened with y'all's lender and you defaulted, that they would take the property and the county would be out $152,000. So that's the only reason we're even looking at this. Now, do I think that's going to happen? Probably not.
And we're not concerned with small risks.
Can we have a simple two-word motion?
Well, it's not a simple two-word motion. I think that what I would do is make a motion for conditional approval of subordination of our deed of trust to second position upon provision of the requested documentation. Does that work for y'all?
Yeah, so then my question is, if I email that to you tonight, then it's done.
Then I can send it over to Olivia or Amber tomorrow. You guys can sign off on it and we can be finished.
He can sign off.
Correct. If you
We're not
give
gonna
him,
meet.
if you delegate the authority to him, he can sign off on it, yes.
And if I need to come over tomorrow, I will come over
Yeah,
and sign.
that's fine. We're trying to get it done so we don't hold you up.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, you know what to say, Rick?
Let me,
She said.
what I said.
Call on the part, you know.
Yeah, but before I do the motion, is there any other issue, Carl? Anything you see? If we do this, we're good?
This should be
As
all
long
we
as we
need.
get that paper
We
signed
just
in the back
need
of the
you
bank
second
by
link.
whoever needs to sign it. I don't care who signs it, as long as the bank lets us move forward.
I can't sign it.
The goal being to do that tomorrow, right?
Please, yes.
I'm just gonna
If I
read
hear
this.
that, Jennifer, the goal to do this tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll be in the office tomorrow. I'm
Okay.
ready.
I'll make the motion that what Jennifer just said.
Thank you.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're not in
And
action.
we need to move this to action.
And it's not, we're not, everybody's, yeah, so big deal. We'll get it done.
Let's just do
Thank
that,
you.
right.
That all over again when we get to action.
That brings us to action. Agenda, and the first thing up is the DSS board appointments.
So, at the last meeting, Kathy Young was nominated to serve on the DSS board. We had no other applications received, so, if you approve.
Okay, do I hear a motion to approve Kathy Young as nominated?
We have to poll to do
Y'all
this.
got a poll?
Young.
Young.
Same difference.
Yeah.
We gotta take action now.
You just did, didn't you?
You kind of,
Well, we did under the discussion agenda,
yeah,
but we
you
weren't on
really,
the action agenda.
you should have just moved it
To
to action and then did the motion now. But,
You've already taken the vote, so.
Yeah.
All right then, we won't do it again.
So we're good. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion. Second.
Aye.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, good.